Hi, my name is Dan. I was raised in the church and sensed the call to ministry at a very young age. And so I followed that calling and became a pastor. I graduated from a Christian university and got married and began to raise a family. After 20 years in ministry, we went from a mountaintop to a very low valley. After my wife left and divorce ripped our family apart, I felt the weight of raising 3 children alone. And in the rules of the church at that time, I was now no longer able to pastor a church. And so I left the profession that I had prepared for and worked for my whole life. We soon lost our home that I had purchased, and at times I wondered how I was even going to provide the next meal for my family. Bitterness and anxiety gripped my life, and it even began to affect my physical health. I had many questions for God that seemingly went unanswered. I kept thinking of the military slogan, "No soldier left behind." And here I was, wounded and bleeding on the battlefield of life and ministry, and it seemed like there was no one there to help me. I was walking alone and no joy, no strength left. I felt like every decision that I made was dictated by the circumstances of my life, and so withdrawal and isolation became my way of survival. During this dark time, a friend invited me to church, and so I went. As I listened to the pastor share about the needs of the church and asked for volunteers, I felt God nudging me, and so I was obedient, and I began to sing and to lead worship and got involved in leadership. And I began to see that God still did have a purpose for my life, and He was able to still use me when I thought that I would never be used in ministry again. After 7 years, I have grown in leadership, and I've begun to gain confidence again, not only in myself, but in my calling. I read somewhere, when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on. At any point during this journey, I could have let go of the rope. And one of my great worries was how my children would react to all that we'd gone through, whether they would want to be involved in ministry, the church, even involved with God. But today, my daughters, Shalisha and Sharia, are worship leaders here at Lifehouse, and my son attends here with his family and my grandson. And I've realized now that even when things don't go as planned in life, God can create a new plan. I know I'm not at the place of full restoration where God desires me to be, but I know that I'm in God's will, and God has taken me from a deep crisis time in my life to a time when I do have purpose again, and I know that God is using me, and I just want to be open and willing that wherever God would lead me, that I would follow in His footsteps, be able to hear His voice and do as He asks.